Do you know the main problem with modern football? We are constantly being sold the next Messi. But what we should be sold is the next Valverde. Because if Messi is a genius, Valverde is a Terminator. He has no weaknesses, except, perhaps, a sense of self-preservation. But first things first, Federico Valverde was born in Montevideo, Uruguay. And if you think Uruguayans are born with a certain toughness of character, you're right. But in Feed's case, it's also a matter of genetics. His paternal grandfather, Julio Valverde, was a professional boxer. He didn't just hit the heavy bag, he actually stepped into the ring. Can you imagine? He has not only football in his blood, but also the ability to take a punch, a skill that would serve him very well. As a child, Federico wasn't exactly the most technically gifted player. While his peers at Pirol were pulling off fancy tricks, Feed would simply sprint away. He was faster than everyone else, so much faster that his coaches would put him on the wing and tell him, run. Just run. And run he did. Just like his grandfather in his younger days, charging straight ahead. A turning point came in 2015 when Valverde was 16. Scouts arrived from Argentina, from Boca Juniors. They had come to watch another player, but they couldn't take their eyes off that red-haired whirlwind. They signed him almost instantly. But at Boca, they quickly realized he wasn't just a fast kid. He was a psychopath, in a good way. Picture this. He's 17 and making his debut for the Boca first team. It's a match against racing. Valverde comes on and simply tears through everything in his path. He didn't just play, he hunted the ball down like it was the last scrap of meat on earth. He was immediately nicknamed Pajarito, little bird, for the way he fluttered between opponents, though he didn't flutter for long. Usually, within 5 minutes, he'd be sliding into a tackle. But that is where big-time politics comes into play. In 2017, Real Madrid took notice of Federico. And, significantly, it wasn't just a casual glance. At the time, Madrid was restructuring its scouting department and looking for fresh talent. They saw a player who didn't need to be taught how to play football. He just needed to be taught how to win. The transfer cost around €5 million, a pittance for a player now valued in the hundreds of millions. But the funniest part is that Real Madrid bought him and sent him to Castilla. Yes, the reserve team. Valverde didn't whine. He just put in the hard work. He said, I'm here to work. During the 2017-18 season, he was a machine for Castilla. And most importantly, he didn't break down. Unlike many wonder kids who crumble after their first rough tackle at 17, Valverde approached every match like a do-or-die battle. And then came the moment of truth. The 201,819 season. Zidane had left Lopetegui arrived, followed by Solari. The team was in turmoil. Then, in a Copa del Rey match, Solari fielded Valverde. Everyone was surprised. Who is this? The fans asked. 20 minutes later, they stopped asking, because Valverde simply dominated the entire midfield. But the 2019-20 season was his true breakout moment. Zidane had returned, and it seemed there was no room for Valverde. The midfield was set. Madrid, Cruz, and Case Morel. Then came that legendary Spanish Super Cup match against Atletico, the final. Valverde came off the bench and shattered every stereotype. He covered more ground than anyone else, won back possession, and drove the attack forward. But there's one moment that still lives on in memes. He brought down Morata and was shown a red card for committing the foul as the last man. While his team prepared for the penalty shootout, he stood in the stands and wept. Yes, he wept. Not because he had been sent off, but because he had let the team down. Yet Real won, and people came to understand Valverde. He isn't just a runner. He is the heart of the team. And it didn't stop there. Zidane started playing him everywhere. On the right, on the left, in the holding role, and as a box-to-box midfielder. He was like a Swiss Army knife. Then came the 2021 Champions League match against Liverpool. Remember? Real won 31 away. But who was the best player on the pitch? Not Vinicius. It was Valverde. He provided the assist for Asensio, drove the attack forward, and put in the work defensively, too. That season, he became a player without a position. Coaches say, put him on the flank, and he'll run the opposing defense ragged. Put him in the center, and he'll shut down the zone. He is Carlo Ancelotti's ideal soldier. And Carlo says, I love players like that. They understand football without the ball. And now, the 202,526 season. Many had said, Valverde has run out of steam. Yet, he stepped up and became even better. He took on a captain's armband when the veterans were sidelined by injury. He began playing a new kind of game. He is no longer just a runner, he is a conductor. He intercepts the ball and launches attacks. His technique has improved beyond recognition. So what's the bottom line? Federico Valverde isn't about flashy gems, fancy tricks, or Instagram. He is about blood, sweat, and tears, literally. He is a man who grew up playing on concrete pitches in Montevideo and never scraped his knees because he has nerves of steel. His transfer market value has risen to 100 million, and that's not the ceiling. He's the kind of player you can always bank on in any match because he'll either make a decisive contribution or take out an opponent with a tackle. Just kidding. But there's a 99% chance he'll become a legend, provided he doesn't get injured, and he doesn't. If you watched this far, don't forget to like and comment on the episode. Subscribe to stay up to date with new exciting stories. This was Sven from Boots Channel. Bye.